very tedious task because um, there was a lot of steps that also really utilized my instructors, which were a very big help to me personally. And yeah, from there I eventually was able to resolve it with the help of with my tutors, and just overall my being able to critically think of the situation and get it over with. Uh, and lastly, the way I believe this will help us further on, or for me personally in the future, is it will help me elaborate upon my own creative imagination. Because I feel like computer science as a whole, whether it be Swift or any other type of language, it'll really propel myself forward to want to understand more and to build more intuitive technology as a whole. And yeah, thank you. It'll really propel myself
Thank you so
forward
much, Ethan.
to want to
Okay,
understand
and
more
so
and
now we're
to
gonna play a
build
video
more
by our next
intuitive
student, Alexia,
technology as a whole.
and
And yeah,
please
thank you.
please let
It'll
me know
really
if you guys
propel
hear it, and I'll
myself
make sure that
forward
everything is
to
running
want to
okay.
understand
And so
more
now
and
we're
to
gonna play a
build
video
more
by our next student, Alexia. Okay, so it seems like it may be a little bit too low to hear, so I'm just going to describe that this is Alexia Rendon's project, and she's describing some of the challenges that she faced building it and creating the Xcode. And I did want to go back to the slide with, so this was Elaine, the first student that spoke, and this is her app that she created, and she explained how she created this. She used the Google Firebase Cloud Server, which is used in a lot of modern applications. It's a NoSQL server, which means it's a lot more accessible for people who are not as familiar with the databases or technical things, and it makes programming accessible to a lot of different groups and students. And so this was Elaine's app that she was explaining. She was able to get her server working and get her upload functions working, and this is all downloading and uploading directly to the Google server. And if this was on the App Store, that's multiple people would be able to create an account. They would be able to upload their photos and like comments, and you'll see that she clicks on this like button down here, and then it increases the likes, and she programmed all of this herself, as she explained. It was very technical, it paid very close attention because of the errors that she had. And then for the second student who spoke a little, we have her video here. This is the app that she created. Each of the students made their own design. And she also has her signed in to the program, her upload, and her logout state. And then we had our final student, Ethan, how she discussed his challenges and also the app which is used in a lot of modern. So at this time, I just want to thank you all for covering and support us in this week. A lot more for supporting the students. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the chat or make these programs accessible for ask us any questions you may have. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the project. She was explaining she was able to get her server
Thank you,
working
Sandra, and
and
thank you
upload
all
functions and
these
this is all
students that worked
downloading
so
and
hard
uploading
creating these
to the
apps.
server.
Up
This was on the
next,
App
we
Store, but
have the
multiple
VEX
people would
Robotics
be able to create an
component, the
account.
engineering
They would be
portion
able
and
to
the engineering
upload
design.
their photos
Um,
and like
I'm
comments,
going
and
to
you'll
pass
see
it
that
on
she
to
clicks on this
Alberto
like button down
Quiroz,
here, and then
who
it
will
increases
lead
the
us
likes,
on
and
to
she
the VEX
programmed all of this
Robotics component.
herself, as she explained. It's very technical. It paid very close attention because of the errors that she had. And then
Alberto,
for the
you are
second
muted.
student who spoke a little, we have her video here.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that.
Each
Thank
of
you,
the
Rhonda.
students made their own
So,
design,
I am the
and
lead
she
instructor
also
for Vex
has her
Robotics,
signed with
and there's also two other instructors who
the
have helped me throughout these 5 to 6 weeks. Their names is Irving and Ivan.
Hello, my name is Diego, and I'm part of the NEIU VEX STEM program. This summer class, we learned about the design and programming process in order to complete our project using programs like VEX Coding VR, VEX V5, and SketchUp. We used SketchUp to design our robots, manipulate certain dimensions, and tinkering with the parts, for example, creating a robotics claw from scratch and allow our ideas to be displayed into a virtual program.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm a part of the Northeastern STEM program for VEX Robotics. Something that we've used during our class is a program called SketchUp. While using SketchUp and making my robot, I've learned how to use the rotation tool to rotate objects and also how to put parts together. When designing my robot, I wanted to keep it simple and make a clawbot with 4 wheels. I also added some color to it so it could stand out more.
Hi, my name is Javier, and what I've learned from the past 6 weeks in this program is to visualize how the code and robot will appear in its final stage of its design. We used the Vex VR to overcome challenges and obstacles in virtual robot scenarios. For example, during our first week, we had to overcome a maze using blocks from Vex VR to navigate through it. It did take some time, but what I've learned from the experience is that if one error occurs, your entire code can fall apart and no longer work properly as intended.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I took part of the STEM program, and I'll be talking about the coding. Something that had an important role when it came to our robot was programming it. Throughout most of the program, we used an app called Vex Code V5 Blocks, which had preset functions and actions for our robot. The app was very easy to use as we knew what each command meant, and it allowed us to change some details, such as how long it will go straight, how many degrees it will turn, etc. However, once we got comfortable with it, we entered into the next phase of coding, C++. That turned out to be much more complex than most of us anticipated, as learning the basics was already hard. Understanding the terms int and double were something most of us, including myself, could not really comprehend. After some time, we understood some parts of C++ coding, but not everything. Generalizing coding, it was something that all of us needed to understand when it comes to constructing a functional robot.
Hello, my name is Eric, and in this program we learn how to code using a blocks program to start and then moving to the text version as we learn more. In the screen, you can see some of the things we did in this program, such as the robots in the right side of the screen, blocks program in the middle of the screen, uh, text program in the left bottom corner, and on the top left corner is coding work that we did in the program.
So this is Gael's slide. I'm not sure if he's here right now or if his mic's muted. Okay. He's not here right now, but his design was to make a robot similar to a forklift design. And it's pretty neat. I love seeing, students, try things new and, new ideas, new designs. So, all right, let's move to the next slide. And this slide is a clip of the virtual robots, a pre-built virtual robot, and you're going to see it in action when we run the code. So how cool is that? Now, are just, everyone here is just scratching the surface on what we learned. And I really have to say, I've been really impressed what we can do in just 5-6 weeks, especially with, with everything's going on right now, with COVID and everything transitioning to online, but that doesn't mean we stop learning. In fact, we probably have to try just a little bit harder, and I'm really impressed with everyone. So thank you, everyone. We can move to the next one. If anyone has questions, again, please feel free to type it out or ask us directly.
Thank you, Alberto, and thank you to all the other instructors and also the students. Those were amazing designs, and it was great to see the robot in action after playing that code. So thank you again. Up next, we have our arquitectos, Samra, Ricardo, and Karen, who will be telling us a little bit about what the students did during the 6 weeks thanks to all your hard work. So I will pass it on to Samra, who is now sharing her screen.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Blanca. Thank you, Aaron. And thank you, everyone at the NEIU team for including the Arquitectos organization. My name is Ricardo Sandoval. I am one of the instructors that helped lead and design this course for you. A little background on me is that I am currently a third year Masters of Architecture student at the University of Illinois at Chicago. Um, I will pass it on to the other instructors to introduce themselves and also kind of get us started with introducing the program and what we did for the past 6 weeks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karen. I am a recent graduate from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I graduated with a bachelor's in architecture, and this is actually my second year teaching the summer course. And this is a very different experience, but I was very excited to be able to introduce architecture along with my other instructors to the students who've never learned anything about architecture. So now I'll pass it on to Samra, our third instructor.
Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you so much, everybody who's joining us virtually today. I am Samra. I am a spatial designer at Agency EA, and my team and I are very excited to have partnered with the trio UBMS this summer. Essentially, we are part of a minority architect-led organization called Arquitectos, and our organization serves to provide professional development, mentorship, community assistance, and educational programs for minority architects, aspiring designers, and the community as a whole. For this summer course, our goal was to introduce students to practice of design thinking. The course was focused on exercises, lectures, and discussions that basically allowed students to understand, identify, and then analyze complex topics in design and empower them to independently engage in critical design thinking to dissect existing work, as well as create fresh designs in both the 2D and the 3D realm and communicate them visually using a variety of softwares and platforms. Once we had armored our group with these critical design tools, our goal was to then help them use these principles to create a piece of architecture that challenged preconceived notions of how we understand spaces and buildings around us, and challenged them to rethink what constitutes a house. And to do so, we challenged them to be experimental with forms, shapes, layouts, and programs, to name a few. So we started our journey for this course in architecture by first helping students understand design elements and principles, and put them in action using very simple elements to first learn how to visually communicate complex principles such as symmetry, balance, movement, hierarchy, contrast, to name a few, using only a 2-inch dot on a 10-inch by 10-inch square. On your screen, you can see some beautiful examples of student work that showcase this exercise. Then we expanded our palette a little bit to help students understand and communicate ideas of a little more broader notions such as scale, proportion, layout, to help them create these unique and engaging design configurations. Again, some examples of these beautiful student work on your screen. Going into our next section, we then introduced analytical exercises to build students' analytical eye and to help them look at everyday items in a critical fashion. I would like to take this opportunity to hand over the section to Karen, who's going to walk you through the next segment.
So once the students were able to learn about what design principles and design elements were, now we wanted them to see how they could analyze abstract art pieces by dissecting them apart and kind of calling out those design elements and principles. And so they simply did this by kind of calling out whether it was lines, shapes, colors on Google Slides on a format that we usually don't use in architecture, but they were able to do the same thing that we would normally do in a different software. So these are some examples of how the students decided to analyze these abstract art pieces. And you can also tell that each student interpreted these abstract art pieces differently, which was really special to see. That's another thing that we really wanted to show was that, you know, this is abstract art pieces, but everyone's going to interpret it differently. So that was kind of what we really wanted to show with this assignment. From there, we then now knowing that the students understood what these design elements and principles were, and they were able to analyze them in different art pieces, it was their turn to do their own masterpiece. So we wanted to see what they could create now knowing what these design elements and principles were. So these are some examples of how the students decided to create an abstract art piece. And so at first we restricted them to just a black and white grayscale. So we can really see if they understood what hierarchy was, the use of line and different values. So we really wanted to see what they could create. And each student created amazing art pieces. And from there, we then introduced color so that they can see what the use of color does when you incorporate it into these art pieces. So you can see some of them were really, really creative. And this was a process that they did for a couple days, and it wasn't just one iteration, which was another thing that we wanted to introduce, that this is something that takes time and is a trial and error kind of thing. And this is also something that they were going to use to inspire and drive their design for their future final project. So now I'm going to pass it on to Ricardo to talk about the architecture analysis.
So following the painting analysis, we moved into the architecture focused part of the program, and all of the students were given very famous homes designed by well-known architects in the field of architecture. And they were tasked with researching and analyzing the plan, section, elevations, familiar architectural drawings that we use in the field. And they were also tasked with not only analyzing this in 2D, but also creating this in 3D using SketchUp. Here you can see some of the diagrams, the 3D models that they made of the existing architecture. And as you can see, this took very many hours of diagramming, analyzing, and as Karen and Samara have mentioned, the design process also starts with research and analysis, which is also very iterative in communicating and picking out ideas that other people have incorporated into whether it's artwork, whether it's a built architecture, understanding how it's done. And then as we moved forward, them getting the chance to create their own house. And so for the final project, they were tasked with using their original 2D graphic artwork to then transform that into a built architecture. All of the students were given a site in which they were to create this house. And this site is located in the Pilsen neighborhood. which is very rich in culture, history, art, architecture, many things. And so we wanted to take this artwork and transform it. And many of them pulled ideas from their original artwork that became the driver for their design of their house. Um, and this required them to use and apply a lot of their skills. We did also do analysis on the site, which some of the students in a second will talk about to help inform their design. So now I will have the students go ahead and present their work.
So this is the structure that I made. So this is the structure that I made. I named it the shack because it's completely the opposite. It's and besides from like the basic shack. So my inspiration came from the top left corner. That was how I started off. I wanted to. My inspiration came from like an arcade carpet and how it was, and I wanted to show movement in the picture, adding lines and different shapes. So that's when I became that's oh, let me like just do these like different buildings, and then in the pictures that's how the picture to the right of mine is how everything's laid out, which is the bedroom, which is the bathroom, and they're all connected by tiny little hallways. Thing to mention that all my little buildings have different hats, like hats, roofs. You know, I wanted to do them like they all have like different funky hats. You know, and yeah. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rosa, and the house I designed is named the Garden House. To begin the process, I started with a 2D graphic. My 2D graphic is filled with a triangular pattern. Branching off of triangles, I had the idea to make a garden filled with triangles. After viewing the site location, I saw that there was grass, which further drove my garden design. Following that idea, I decided to instead use 3 triangles as my buildings and a garden in between. The garden is emphasized as it is the central element of the house in relation to spatial hierarchy. I have also added perspective images to show how it would feel to be inside the house. The western building has a workplace, and on the other side is an area for a pet. The eastern building is the bedroom, and the southern building is the kitchen and living area. Between each building, there is space to provide access for outdoor activities. Now on to the next person.
Hi, so for my building, I did a courtyard house, open concept house. So basically, my house is 4 triangles on the north, north, south, east, west side of the house, and basically each triangle is a living area. One being the kitchen, one being the living room, one being half of a bathroom, half of a work area, and basically it's all connected by these glass hallways in between each house, in between each triangle. And originally, when I first started the project, I actually wanted to make not like a basic house. I didn't just want to make a cube with a roof on it. And I thought, okay, maybe I can deconstruct a rectangular prism and I make it into a house. So this is exactly what it is. Every brick is connected by glass. Every brick triangle is connected by glass, and that's basically what my project was. No, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Araceli, and for my house called Studio Square, I used a previous logo design, which is the 3 squares in the center, and I used that to create a program diagram, which is in the left bottom, and which is the basic idea of my house that I want to create. And from that, I took the 2D image and took it to SketchUp to make it into 3D and actually make the house. I originally had a plan to make it just like the 2 squares, the 2 rectangles, and then the circle. But I thought about the neighborhood of Pilsen, and I wanted to like flow better with the rest of the houses. So I made it into a square, but still including the 2 rectangles and the circle inside, and as well as including the pool inside as well, and making more space for the yard and the basketball court. So yeah, I included sections of the house, which is the inside, and the elevations, which is how it looks on the outside and from the front view, and then the back view. And I named it Studio Square because it's like a practice house. Like you can practice basketball or like any other work that you have inside. And then there's a pool you can like relax in and just you know be at home. And it's a shape of square. So I just named it Studio Square. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ricardo, and I decided to make my house based off, well, I wanted it to not have like cookie cutter kind of house. I wanted it to be entirely different, and also wanted to focus all of them to be on one specific line and keep them connected through like little hallways, but like not full on hallways, and make them all entire one giant house, just to keep them uh, their own spaces. And from your left to right, it starts to go from the most important spot of the house to the least important spot, and the least important spot would be like bedrooms and such. And the most important would obviously be the entertainment spot, because you don't want to have people going through, bedrooms and such. You want them to be there straight into the entertainment, just to keep it simple.
Hello, my name is Antonio. This is my project, and it features well, it's a big property, like 125 by 100, and it features a greenhouse, a guest house, a workshop, and a residence. The whole property started as a 2D model, which was meant to show the design elements such as balance of value, but then it turned into this once, and we were able to build more houses in the property. The whole workshop and all the windows on the buildings were inspired by the President House, which I got was the Eam House. So the walls were supposed to be like glass with frames on it, of course. And the residence house features two floors. On the first floor is the living room and the kitchen. On the second floor is a bedroom, office, and of course a bathroom. Thank you.
Is better? Is better here? Okay. Well, we can jump on to the next project.
Wait, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay. My name is Ospeda. When I started this building, I started it as a square and try it into a cube to form as a cube. So inside the rooms, I try to like I'm into rectangles and squares. So and then the inside, it might look like like a repetitive rectangles and squares. But then I started like why not put a pool inside the house? So I did that like a fountain house, like depending on the safety I want it to be or the fun I want it to be. In the second floor, I decided to add like a little like an extra space for like um kids that wants to do experiments that they're not allowed inside the house, but they kind of do in the inside the house, like kind of bending the rules or doing parties upstairs and have mostly have fun. So I'm mostly like trying to make homes for people to have fun, and that's all.
Okay, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Mitzi, and for the final project, I created the modern Oaxacan house. A little bit of context of why it's called the modern Oaxacan house is that we were given the creative liberty to pick our own client. So I created my client with having the concept that it was an artist who had a whole bunch of experience, like being a writer, but also being a painter. She was also mixed by being half Afro, but also she was Mexican, more specifically from Oaxaca. So since the site that we were given was Pilsen, I decided to have her Oaxacan roots be much more highlighted. And also since she wanted her house to look a bit more modern, I kind of kept that concept throughout her house. So starting off, obviously, the house did not come out of thin air. It came out of creating a whole bunch of 2D graphics, which are like abstract art. And finally, I decided with the one that you see right now. With this one, this kind of became like the skeleton for the plan of the house. And so when looking at the plan, you obviously see like there's a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, going into a hallway, a library, studio, bathroom, and personal room. By having this created, we then go into like the sections of the house. And to give you like how the sections work with the house, it's basically like, let's say you cut the house, but obviously we're not cutting it. And so you see the inside of the house. By looking inside the house, you now see like the thickness of the walls, and you can see, you basically have an idea of how that works. And then once you have that idea, you can go into the elevations of the house, which is like more of like the 3D components of the house essentially. Something I would like to like highlight in the elevations is that due to Pilsen's history of flooding, I decided to have the house elevated 1 foot up so that my client doesn't have to deal with investing in like having a plumber in or dealing with all the floodings. I also wanted to highlight that with throughout the plan, the section elevation, and my 2D graphic, I kept in consideration the components of the sign, which were hierarchy and unity. Throughout the house, all three sections of the building are all connected, leaving there no walls, but also you can see on the side that there is glass, showing that it has fully become one as a whole. And as for hierarchy, you can see that each part of the house, like the living room and the dining room, have a lower roof or aren't as tall. And then moving forward into private areas, sometimes the roof goes lower or the building isn't as tall. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we conclude the architecture section and would like to hand it over to the next section.
Thank you so much, all of you, for the amazing and inspiring work. Um, we are so glad to continue working with Arquitectos and to be able to get creative. And I think we all got a little inspired, and we're all thinking about our future homes now. So thank you again. Um, for the last program of our summer, we have the traditional Mexican folklore group that was being led by our instructor Sergio, who is now presenting his screen, and he will describe a little bit about what was going on during the summer with the folklorico program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sergio, and as Blanca said, I was the lead instructor for the Folklorico program these 6 weeks in the summer. First off, I'm waiting for Isabel to present the screen. It's taking a little while, but in the meantime, I'll talk a little bit about myself. Um, so as I had mentioned, I do have an experience in dancing folklore. For most of my life, I've been dancing. I have been dancing for about 14 years. I'm a member of Back of the Arts Ballet Folklorico. I started at a very young age, so I understand and I can relate in that way with the students. I am currently now the assistant artistic director of the group. I've had the opportunity to be one of the leaders in the group now. In terms of education, I am seeking a bachelor's degree in secondary education. Um, a lot of this has to do with the fact that I did start teaching dancing, and it kind of led, and I started realizing within myself that I really enjoy teaching itself. So it became my passion, and I'm seeking a degree in doing so now. I currently also work for a couple of Chicago public schools. I work at Back of the Arts High School and Nathaniel Green Elementary. I do the same thing I did in the summer. I teach folklorico as well. But yeah, I also want to thank my team for helping me out these 6 weeks. And now we'll move on to Sasha. She was one of the team members in this group. We did a great job. You can take over now.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Sasha Bravo. I'm one of the folklorical instructors. I have been part of the UB program as a tutor and instructor since November of 2019. So this is my first summer and my first time teaching a virtual class. In regards to my dancing experience, I also started off with the Ballet Folklorico Back of the Yards, and I've been dancing for 15 years, so it's been a while. But I could say that dancing has been one of my greatest passions. I'm also currently studying at the University of Illinois at Chicago, um, majoring in a majoring in biological science with a minor in psychology and sociology. And finally, I would like to thank my team and everyone for an amazing and successful summer. It was such a great opportunity, and it is so fulfilling to take part in everyone's creativity and accomplishments. I'm very proud, and I hope you guys all enjoy the presentation. So now I'm going to pass it on to our mentor, Isabella.
Thank you. So as Sasha mentioned, I am the mentor. So this is also my first summer with the program, and just a little background on myself. My name is Isabella Nuno. I am a student at Lake Forest College. I will be going into my junior year. So I work in admissions, so I'm kind of used to mentoring students that are around this age range. So it was really nice to kind of like explore that again. So my experience with dancing is nowhere near the experience that Sasha and Sergio have. But I was in a LU dance. So LU is Latinos Unidos at my school. I am co-president of that club as well as a mental health club. And last year in the fall, I was in their dance. So I did like one semester of dance, but it's a little different. And I'm also a first generation student. And at Lake Forest College, I am a double major in psychology and communications. And I just want to echo what almost everyone has said so far, but we are so, so proud of our students. And we can't wait to show you the video that we're going to show you a little bit later. But our students really went above and beyond with their creativity, just with all of their hard work. And it's really gratifying to see, like, as everyone said, with everything going on right now, we all needed this, like, lift from everybody. And it's just been really great to see. So I really enjoyed being part of this program. And again, I want to thank my team and, of course, all of the students. And now we're going to move on.
All right, thank you, Sasha, and thank you, Isabella. Once again, thank you for helping me out during the 6 weeks. You guys did a great job, as well as the students. So now I will be talking about a little bit how we structure the class and how we decided to go through all this teaching. So dancing is definitely something that requires a lot of physical interactions with the students. So it was a challenge due to the pandemic that we're enduring at the moment. We weren't able to see the students in person. However, it was a challenge. We overcame it. I think that the results will show that. So I decided to structure the class a little bit different. Usually, in a dance class, since it is folklore based, it does have to do a lot with its history in Mexico. So I decided to focus a little bit more on that on it this time. So we divided the 6 weeks into different regions. In Mexico, we started off from the south and we moved our way up north. And then every day we decided to choose a state that the students were interested in, or I decided to teach. We taught them a little bit of the history, a little bit of the culture, a little bit of the traditions. We try to make it as much as interesting for the students in order for them to enjoy. Other than that, we also took the time to obviously teach them dancing throughout the week, which kind of let me understand how much they knew, how much they wanted to learn. Um, it also facilitated and opened up their creativity as much as it possibly could. In order to show that now, we will be showing a video now, which will showcase what our kids learn dancing. So Isabel, can you please show that now? I really hope you guys enjoy, as the students worked very hard for this, and I think they did a really good job. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed a little clip of what we did over the summer. It's just a small snippet of the dances that they learned to do. We allowed them to choose a state that they felt most comfortable with or what they enjoyed learning about most. That way they could also have a little bit of fun and add a little bit of creativity. There was a couple of challenges we faced. We couldn't provide the materials necessary, such as vestuarios or the proper footwear. But as you guys saw, a lot of the students that created, they took with a lot of creativity. They took the opportunity to come up with their own vestuarios, um, a lot of different backgrounds and things like that. We even had some people play some live music, which was very surprising as well. So the main goal of the whole program was teach, and it is important to allow the students to understand and to find a cultural identity within themselves. And it allows them to be more confident and opens up their minds to other cultures as well. That was ultimately our goal. Dancing is definitely an art and a physical activity that allows students to grow in confidence and also be more open to creative thoughts and things like that. Now we will be moving on to one of our students that was in the video. He will talk a little bit about his experience in the class, what he enjoyed doing, and some of the challenges he faced as well. Jesus.
Hello. So during the program, when like mostly towards the end, I started experiencing a lot of difficulties. So like I didn't have like the shoes or anything, or all of that. And then I started finding a lot of things towards the end, like, oh, like I can make a sombrero, and like I have this tarima that I can dance on, and these dress shoes. And I started finding so many things, and it was a lot of fun to start getting creative towards the end. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like the past years where we did kind of freak out a little bit. And we were like, oh, like we can do kind of this and this and this. There were some parts of it that did carry on to the virtual part, which I did love a lot. It had that good adrenaline. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I'm going to pass it on to whoever's next.
Rachel, are you there? You're next.
Yes. Hello, I'm Rachel Osorio. And so one of the things I really appreciate like about like the whole program was that I didn't waste time. Like I used my time really productively by learning, and what we learned was like the different regions of Mexico and the history and their dances and how the way they dress for their dances. And our instructors, which was Isabella, Sergio, and Sasha, they made it really, really fun for us because at first we were all shy and didn't want to talk to each other. But then we all started getting more comfortable towards like the middle and the end. And we started like talking to each other more. And it was really, really fun. But what like due to the pandemic, it was really sad for me because I was really excited to go and meet new people and like have like new dance partners and do like whole like a big like dance. But it was also really fun because we had to use our minds and to do our own like vestario for our videos, which was really, really fun. And I also learned about Durango, which is where my pueblo's from, La Ciénaga Escobar. So I learned about their history. I learned about the dances they had. I also learned about what they wore, what they wore dressed for their dances. Sorry. So it was really exciting to learn about it. But I picked Tabasco for my region because I wanted to learn something new, and was really, really interesting about their history. So that's why I picked it, and I love the way they dance and their whole vestuario. But overall, it was really exciting for me, and it was a really, really fun experience. I'll pass it on to whoever's next now. Thank you.
So Sergio, Laura, you can go next.
Yeah, I'm here. Uh, so as 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 Rachel pointed out, I really like the program because it gave me something productive to do with my time. Because before the program had started, I was spending a lot of my time just like playing Tetris or other video games. Uh, and I really liked how the program, since we weren't able to meet in person and we weren't able to focus on a particular state, I got to learn a lot about the history of Mexico, where I was born, even though we didn't cover the particular state in which I was born. But overall, it was a really fun experience for me. Uh, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have one more student. So if Brenda can just come and talk a little bit about the dance and everything. She also is the one that had someone play live music, so we're super excited to get her to talk about her experience just a little bit. But yes.
You're muted, Brenda.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, hi, my name is Brenda Munoz. My dance was Aztec dancing conchero. So what I loved about the program was I had the opportunity to do it again this year as last year. Um, it was a lot of honestly. It was kind of difficult because it was online and not in person, but it was still fun. And my creativity went to another level, making my own penacho out of peacock feathers that I had, and having my friend from last year who did Concheros as with me as well do music live for me, which was way better than trying to find the music on YouTube, which was usually not the right song that I wanted or sounded well, the quality. what I love about this program was that I got to connect more about my culture and I learned about my own state where my parents are from, Leon and Guanajuato. And not only that, but my parents also used to do folklorico. And during the program, I learned all about new dances and I got another topic that was really fun to talk about with my parents and them telling about their experience, how the teachers would sometimes yell at them for not doing them right. It was really fun how they had so much fun with their groups. Um, it was really fun. I really that it couldn't be in person, but this thing, folklorico, has become part of my identity because now I love so much dancing that it just became part of my identity. It has to be part, and I just can't see myself not with it. So thank you for having me here and for letting me join the group that I had so much fun with people.
Thank you, Brenda. Again, I cannot express how proud we are of our students and our team, like just all of us. We really didn't, we expected to go above and beyond, but not this low. So we're just super proud of everybody. Um, and we're really proud also that students were able to connect with their identity. Folkloric, it meant so much for so many students. Again, like so many of them have said, they got to connect with their identity, but they also learned discipline and had to learn to do it certain times. They had to practice maybe more than they expected for some students. So overall, it was just an amazing thing, and I know I can speak for all of us when I say that we're so proud to be part of this program and part of students' lives and just learn together. But yeah, so thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope everyone enjoyed the video.
Thank you so much, Isabela and Sergio and Sasha and all the students and Brenda. That was so cool. Brenda actually did this dance last year at Fiesta del Sol, so it's really nice to see her continue on and have her friend play the drums for her. So it's been a really nice experience. Thank you everybody for your hard work. I'm going to pass it on now to Aaron Cortez, who is the director of our programs. He's also been managing the tech for us tonight, and so he's been managing multiple screens and making sure our audio is working. We've had some technical difficulties, but we are in a virtual world. But here we are, so I will pass it on to Aaron. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, Erin, let me interrupt you real quick. We can see your slides, but we cannot hear you on the live stream. We cannot hear you on the live stream. We hear you in the meets, but live stream was not able to hear you. Thanks, Erin. If this is okay with you, I'll do a quick recap just for those that are watching us on Facebook. I do see there's people live, and maybe I could do it in Spanish if that's okay with you. Erin? Ok, para los que nos están viendo en Facebook, yo sé que estamos teniendo un poquito de problemas con el sonido de lo que dijo nuestro director Aarón, pero básicamente les dio un resumen de todo lo que hemos hecho. Yo creo que lo más importante es de apreciar todo el esfuerzo que han hecho los maestros que han trabajado con nosotros y al igual que los estudiantes, que dijo que basado en las ciencias, ¿verdad? Dicen que los estudiantes no se van a levantar temprano a hacer estos programas, pero nuestros estudiantes han comprobado que sí se levantaron temprano de lunes a jueves y que formaron parte de estas diferentes actividades que ya vieron y que, dado los resultados, fueron muy exitosos. También tuvimos diferentes grupos acompañándonos. Hicimos un programa con una maestra de China que nos acompañó a las 7 de la mañana todos los martes y los estudiantes se levantaron a aprender otro lenguaje. También quiero pedirle a nuestra coordinadora Natalia Cárdenas que también si gusta también presentarse, no nos pudo acompañar al principio, pero ahora si gustas también decir algo, Natalia.
Sí, gracias Blanca. Hola, mi nombre es Natalia Cárdenas, soy la coordinadora del programa educativo de Northeastern Illinois University. Y sí, igual estoy súper orgullosa de los estudiantes y también de todos los instructores y mentores que estuvieron durante el verano ayudando a todos los estudiantes. Y sí quería decir que adicionalmente de las clases de mandarín que tomaron los estudiantes, también hubo muchos profesionales de la carrera de el Departamento de Agricultura, hablando con los estudiantes, hablándoles sobre sus carreras y cómo pueden seguir los mismos pasos para llegar a esas carreras o tal vez qué tipo de profesiones pueden tomar con las carreras y el ambiente que estuvieron expuestos durante el verano. Entonces, eso fue muy bonito de experimentar con los estudiantes y creo que también los estudiantes disfrutaron de esa oportunidad. Y pues sí, estoy sumamente agradecida con todos ustedes y todos los que nos vieron al transmitir live. Yo sé que hubo unas dificultades, pero sí se pudo lograr. Igual como ustedes vieron, una de las dificultades fueron unas de las dificultades que los estudiantes tuvieron durante el verano. Pero sí, estoy sumamente agradecida con todos y gracias por su atención.
And we also want to, again, one more time, give a quick thank you to Arquitectos and to our partnership. It was great to continue working with you. We've been working with you for quite a while. And so clearly, based on the results, this continues to be a successful partnership, and we're just so happy and lucky to be able to work with you all. So at this moment, we want to open up the floor for anyone, any of our students or any of our instructors who want to say anything. We will go ahead and give a moment. Feel free to also use the chat box.
I guess I'll start. So I've been thinking I do need a house pretty soon. I'm just kidding. I want to thank all the students. It's been a pleasure working with all of you, Irving and Aime too. Thank you so much. It's been a great experience, and I hope for the best for all the students who've been with us. For a really bright future, I can see that definitely. The skills we've learned for pretty much every class, but I'm gonna aim it down to the robotics class since I've worked with those students. So those skills transition very well to many other fields that include with programming and design. You can move to architecture if you want, or you can move to, I don't know, software engineering. Say you want to program something else, not just, those robots. Everything electronic that you find in your house right now, it probably has like a little brain to it with instructions on what to do, like your refrigerator or your clocks or anything electronic that we see now is probably programmed in some way. So thank you everyone.
Great. A lot of us are commenting on the chat. We're all just, saying thank you, and we're excited to continue working together. We also want to give a shout out to the United States Department of Agriculture, who worked with us to facilitate our sessions where we had wonderful speakers and people showcasing and letting us know their journey to be working for the United States Department of Agriculture. It was great to have all these sessions, and so we're very thankful for their cooperation or their work with us, and also to the Xi'an group who facilitated that partnership with our teacher from China. We're happy to be working with them, not just for that, but also with all the work that Erin, our director, has been doing over the years to be able to provide opportunities for our students to travel abroad and to take part of other initiatives that just encompass, I think, everything that we've done over the years. So with that being said, Erin, if there's anything else you'd like to mention or that you would like me to recap, thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our instructors. And go ahead, Erin. Hasta luego. Gracias a todos que nos acompañan. Yo sé que no lo escuchan en Facebook, pero con esto ya cerró el programa de hoy nuestro director y les deseo que pasen buenas noches.
Nos vemos.
Gracias, buenas
Buenas
noches.
noches.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.